Tonight, sending a message.
We need bail reform. We need bail reform now, and we need harsher sentences for those convicted of serious violent crimes.
London's police chief speaking out after a recent rise in gun violence. Plus, two sides far apart.
It has been a very difficult set of negotiations.
A potential paratransit strike now looking more likely. And up for adoption. Former research dogs at St. Joseph's Healthcare will be rehomed.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with a message from London Police responding to a recent surge of gun violence. Today, they announced charges against 6 people after reported gunfire in downtown London last month. According to police, the shooting happened near Oxford and Talbot on August 22nd. They say they identified a pair of vehicles of interest, leading to search warrants, resulting in 5 people charged last week and a 6th charged today. Police say they seized a handgun, cash, as well as suspected drugs. The suspects range in age from 22 to 44 years old. The charges include drug and unlicensed firearm possession. One of them, 22-year-old Adib Khalaf, is also accused of firing a gun with intent to endanger life and dangerous driving. London Police also released new video today looking for tips in several other ongoing shooting investigations. As Brian Bicknell reports, there have been 16 shootings in London this year, half a dozen of them in just the last month.
Gunshot after gunshot after gunshot rings out. 33 rounds in all, fired at a house and vehicle on Foxridge Crescent August 18th. Detective Sergeant John Minen saying the residents were not the intended targets.
We believe that they or this address was wrongly targeted.
Police released this video along with this image of an Acura TLX, the type of vehicle police believe was involved in the shooting, in hopes members of the public may come forward with any information that could help.
Thankfully, no one was physically injured, but this was an outrageous act that could have claimed the lives of innocent people.
According to Police Chief Ty Trong, there have been 16 shootings in London so far in 2025, already surpassing last year's total of 14. 6 of this year's shootings happened in August. Some of the suspects involved in the shootings were out on bail at the time.
We need bail reform. We need bail reform now. We need to review the Youth Criminal Justice Act, and we need harsher sentences for those convicted of serious violent crimes and repeat offenders.
Other recent shootings highlighted in a news conference Wednesday include a shooting at Fieldgate Circle August 11th, on Dundas Street August 12th, Piccadilly Street August 22nd, and John Street August 31st.
Of the 4 incidents that I've outlined, we believe that 3, the shootings at 196 John Street, Talbot Street at Piccadilly Street, and the Fieldgate Circle shooting, are linked to ongoing criminal activities under investigation by our detectives. The Dundas Street at English Street shooting appears to be an isolated incident.
LPS says since August, 13 people have been charged with a combined 76 charges in relation to 4 recent shootings. The police chief also used the occasion to point out once again what many in law enforcement have been raising the alarm on for decades and still holds true. The overwhelming majority of firearms being used in crimes are coming from south of the border.
You're looking at over 80 to 90% of the firearms involved in criminals used to commit crimes are from the United States.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Police in the Greater Toronto area say 10 children have been injured after someone drove into a daycare this afternoon. According to York Regional Police, 2 kids were taken to hospital, one with serious injuries and the other with life-threatening injuries. It happened in Richmond Hill, north of Toronto. At this point, police have not said what caused the crash. Sarnia police say they've charged 3 people following a months-long drug investigation. Police say they executed warrants at 3 addresses on Tuesday, seizing $93,000 worth of cocaine and cannabis, as well as $34,000 in cash. They say all 3 suspects are from Sarnia, facing possession and trafficking charges. Officials with St. Joseph's Healthcare now say former research dogs will be adopted. They have repeatedly refused our requests for an interview on the dog testing controversy. And as Rita Ismail reports, animal advocates are frustrated with all the secrecy.
All 8 dogs previously involved in research at Lawson Research Institute at St. Joseph's Healthcare in London will be up for adoption. According to a statement released by the hospital, after the research involving the dogs ended on August 11th, ownership of the dogs transferred to Western University's Animal Care Committee. The ACC then assumed responsibility for the oversight and decisions regarding future placement opportunities for these dogs, adding that 6 of the dogs went to the organization today, but stopping short of identifying that organization, saying it's for the protection and well-being of the animals. However, Animal Justice, the group responsible for bringing the medical testing to light, says although they were elated the dogs will be rehomed, they are disappointed about the secrecy when it comes to the future of the dogs.
We don't have any information about how they're doing. We don't know where they're going. We don't know who has them, and we don't know what their fate will be. I can only suspect that whoever is caring for them now has signed an ironclad NDA, so we likely never will know where the dogs are going.
In August, animal rights group the Beagle Alliance called on St. Joseph's to rehome the dogs and told CTV News Today that it was not the organization selected to assist in this process. St. Joseph's Healthcare declined our request for an interview, directing all media inquiries to Western University, who also declined to comment on camera or reveal the organization that will rehome the animals, saying it's to support the dogs' well-being and to help safely facilitate their adoption to caring homes. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
There's developing news out of Utah tonight where a prominent right-wing American personality was fatally shot at an event on a college campus. Charlie Kirk was hosting an event with hundreds of people in attendance at Utah Valley University. This photo was taken moments before the shooting. Earlier reports indicated a suspect had been taken into custody, but school officials have since said that is not the case. In a video posted to social media, a single shot can be heard before Kirk reaches for his neck. President Donald Trump posted condolences online, saying Kirk was dead. Canadian authorities are promising to stand with Poland after Russian drones were shot down entering Polish airspace. It's considered a serious escalation against a key NATO member. As Mike Lukatur reports, Polish authorities say a line has been crossed.
Poland's prime minister said today his country is the closest it has been to open conflict since the Second World War. Residents of an eastern Poland village describe hearing the roar of a plane falling from the sky, and then a massive boom shook their home. The house was destroyed, he said. The remnants of a suspected Russian drone remain in his yard as Polish authorities search several other sites where drones were found. Moscow claims there were no plans to target Poland. Many of them were shot down with the help of NATO allies, and talks between member countries were quickly called under an Article 4 consultation. Prime Minister Donald Tusk praised the quick response of allies, but pointed out this changes the political situation. In a post on social media, U.S. President Donald Trump said, "What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go." After a NATO meeting, the Secretary General said a full assessment of the incident is ongoing.
Allies expressed solidarity with Poland and denounced Russia's reckless behavior.
While rallying support for Poland in the European Parliament, Ursula von der Leyen told lawmakers the EU is now working on a 19th package of sanctions against Russia.
We're particularly looking at phasing out Russian fossil fuels faster. We're looking at the shadow fleet and at third countries.
Russia's defense ministry says it had not targeted Poland, but Prime Minister Tusk says there were 19 breaches of Polish airspace. And Canada's defense minister is casting doubt on the Kremlin's explanation.
I don't think we can take a lot of what comes from Russia right now at face value.
McGuinty wouldn't say if Canada will deploy more resources to the region, but Germany's foreign minister said NATO stands united and there must be a response to Russia's actions. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Prime Minister says his upcoming budget will focus on spending cuts as well as new investments in key areas. And that's about as specific as he's getting for now in the middle of a multi-day caucus meeting in Edmonton. With more on those discussions, here's Abigail Beeman.
Politics is like hockey. It doesn't build character, it reveals it.
More than a few hockey references in the Prime Minister's speech to caucus about fall priorities delivered in his hometown. Mark Carney referenced a budget with tough decisions. There are big questions about how he'll pay for big investments while spending less and which Trudeau government commitments he'll keep.
This fall, we will release a new climate competitiveness strategy that focuses on results over objectives and investments over prohibitions. Third, we will remain relentlessly focused on bringing down costs for Canadians.
Backsliding on our commitments around climate, if you read values, it'll be a very odd thing for us to do.
Carney said the first major projects list will be announced tomorrow. Radio-Canada is reporting no pipelines will be on it.
No one should take any lesson from the first list of projects that this is the end.
What the Liberals need to do in order to actually allow major projects to move forward is repeal C-69, repeal C-48, lift the production cap, remove the policies that they put in place that block these projects from moving forward.
Those signs point to a thawing of relations between Ottawa and Western Canada, strained in the Trudeau years.
I think there's even a thawing of tone in Danielle Smith, but she's still making a number of demands that frankly can't all be met.
The Prime Minister ends his day meeting with Premier Smith here in Alberta's capital. The pro-pipeline Premier has said she'll be pushing for action on what she calls 9 bad laws hurting the province's economy. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Another gorgeous day across southern Ontario. Ridge of high pressure in place. It's ridging back from the east coast, keeping us clear. There's a little bit of active weather to the north, but not moving into southern Ontario. We did see a bit of cloud this afternoon. Daytime highs ranging from 21 to 23 degrees through here on Perth, Grey and Bruce, and in London at 24 degrees as we head towards Sarnia and Chatham. A beautiful evening underway. A few fair weather clouds in the area, but things are quiet. Winds will be light and variable tonight, and skies will make their way back to clear. Watch for some patchy fog through the overnight. 13 degrees as we head toward midnight. Cool and comfortable heading into tomorrow morning, and the sunshine holds as we roll toward the weekend. We'll take a look at a weather system moving in for Saturday, increasing the chance for showers, but it's not a sure thing yet. I'll take you through your local weather details coming up.
Thanks, Julie. A potential paratransit driver strike looms after the union representing more than 150 workers rejected a recent offer. As Rita Ismail reports, the two sides are still far apart.
The Amalgamated Transit Union Local 741 says Transdev Canada, the parent company of Voyago, is one of the toughest employers they've had to negotiate with.
It has been a very difficult set of negotiations to come to any kind of reasonability with these people. And our members, we got clear directive what they wanted, and we're way too far apart.
The union says there are a number of top issues for its members, including wages and employee retention.
We want you available some days on your day off, just in case they need somebody in the seat to drive the bus, but no pay. There was no standby pay for that.
Last month, paratransit drivers voted overwhelmingly, 92%, rejecting a proposed contract from their employer.
Working conditions were an issue right from the early onset. We were told that they couldn't go to the washroom. Like, it's a human right to be able to go to the washroom. They wanted the restrictions. Well, you can't leave people on the bus when you go in the washroom. Then my answer is that you need to bring a caregiver, but it's a human right. You can't take people's human right.
Details of the revised contract will be presented to the members on Sunday, September 21st. The union is recommending they vote against it and say they will be in a position to strike later this month. Negotiations have been ongoing since April, and this is the first contract negotiation since London's paratransit operators joined the ATU earlier this year, aligning them with LTC drivers. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
An independent auditor found themselves in the hot seat at City Hall today as a councillor questioned the thoroughness of a value for money audit of London's homeless hubs. With more, here's Daryl Newcomb.
This council approved $12 million on 2 hubs, and I read a report that says some people didn't get breakfast.
Councillor Susan Stevenson telling colleagues on the audit committee that a value for money audit of the city's 2 service hubs for homeless Londoners failed to meet her expectations. Its primary recommendations are to expand the capacity and number of hubs, and that since the youth hub and Indigenous-led hub both opened, 100 people have been served, with 40 securing housing.
This was an opportunity to evaluate what actually happened, right? And to see how it played out. What was the value that was created? What are the learnings for us?
But the auditor explained that the report's scope was not intended to provide that level of detail. They did share new information, including that both hubs' financials are within anticipated ranges, adding that human-oriented outcomes are difficult to quantify. But one individual who previously had 231 emergency room visits had just 9 since entering a hub. Another person, according to London Police, had 2,000 previous occurrences, but only 4 interactions since moving through the housing continuum.
That value is being observed in a ton of different ways that is translating not just to the dollars and cents.
City staff told the audit committee that later this month, an evaluation report will be going to the Community and Protective Services Committee, detailing how things are going at the hubs and more broadly with the whole of community response to homelessness.
What we have experienced and what has been produced, that will be coming to CAPS on September 29th.
Councillor Elizabeth Pelosa has already seen a copy of that independent evaluation prepared by the Centre for Research on Health Equity and Social Inclusion at Western University. She says it provides a lot more detail about the hubs and what needs to happen moving forward.
We could always be doing better, but we need more money to be doing more and doing better, and we would need our federal and provincial partners to help with operational dollars.
This was our opportunity to have it validated from an independent party, and we didn't get that.
The audit committee received the report, and city staff are implementing a plan to address the recommendations. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
We are right in the middle of the Western Fair, and for more on the festivities and what to look forward to as we get into the fair's final weekend, we're joined live by Nick Paparella. Nick, over to you.
Hey, Carlyle, 5 days down, 5 more to go, and so far so good here at the Western Fair. I'm joined now by Greg Blanchard. And Greg, tell us, how have the first 5 days been?
Outstanding. We couldn't have asked for any better. I mean, Mother Nature's done her part, and yeah, people are coming out in droves, and a lot of new programming this year, some big changes that people are really enjoying.
And tell us what's new.
Well, a big change this year, I'd say, was having the grandstand acts back just across the road. Tonight, we're going to have monster trucks performing there. We had the demo derby to kick it off, and they'll be back again on Sunday. FMX stunt riders, the heavy horse hitch. So having the grandstand back's probably been the biggest change that's been the most well received this year. And Kittyland moving down to this end of the Midway, also been another fan favorite.
And tell us, there's a music component to this as well.
Yeah, there is. We've got the Bud Light music stage right in the middle of the Midway. Great performances all week long, all 10 days of the fair. We kicked it off Friday night with Gowan, and he was fantastic. Alan Frew of Glass Tiger tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that one. And a lot of great local bands and some tribute bands along the rest of the way.
And also some pretty good deals coming up this weekend.
Yeah, there is. Sunday, I mean, we're going to wrap things up in style on Sunday. We've got the demo derby, as I mentioned. That's it's going to be something people are coming out for. But it's your last chance to come on out, and we urge people to do so because we've got the $30 super passes, ride all day, $10 general admission. We call it Super Sunday for a reason.
Now, this fair, of course, has quite the history, 148 years, and people still love it.
It's amazing. And I mean, 148 years tells you what this event means to the community. It's wonderful to see the entire community out year after year. And yeah, in a couple of years, we'll be celebrating 150. It's hard to believe.
All right. There is the music. There is the amusements. And you know what else I love about the fair, the rides besides the ride? There's the food. Okay, it's time to dig in here, folks. We got fair food here. What do we got here then, Gregor?
I think this is a deep-fried Pop-Tart. How good does that look?
Okay, let's give it a try.
I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, let's go.
What's it taste like?
One word, wow.
Wow, okay,
Wow.
okay. For me, I'm digging in, Carlyle. I've got the donut burger here. I'm digging into the donut burger. There it is. Donut burger with the works. Here we go. This is good fare food. Western fare.
Nick, you
On
might need to
until
take a
this
seat, I think, just to take that one down. That looks like quite a mouthful. Thanks so much,
All right.
Nick. Live for us at the Western Fair tonight.
Trying to keep up with these 20-year-olds that are coming in the league that are bigger, faster, stronger.
When we come back, it's the Tee Up with Brent Lail, and we hear from Corey Perry ahead of his 21st season in the NHL.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Celebrate the 90s with Fairway Fest at East Park, London on Saturday, September 20th. Featuring Naughty by Nature, Rob Bass, and more. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca to win a pair of tickets and meet and greet passes.
Well, welcome back. It's time for the Tee Up with Brent Lail. We're getting into mid-September, Brent, and that means junior hockey is starting to ramp up for a new season.
Yeah, the London Nationals are just minutes away from puck drop on the Junior B season tonight. Earlier today, they packed up the bus and hit the road for LaSalle. Meanwhile, in St. Thomas, the Stars are paying tribute to a local NHL Hall of Famer.
Played here, I think, as a 15-year-old and tore up this league. For us as an organization, I think it's great to pay tribute to someone like that.
The Stars are going retro with a special set of jerseys they'll wear through the season to pay tribute to Joe Thornton. They're the same shirts Joe wore when he played in the mid-90s. On the ice, they'll begin their season against the defending champs in Chatham on Sunday. And the organization has made a change this season, bringing in former Detroit Red Wing and Stanley Cup champ Jason Williams as their new head coach.
A little bit of a fresh start, you know. It happens a lot in hockey, and my brother's coming along as well, and then obviously Joe Doyle being here, and he knows, the community, and he's really well known and with the minor hockey and stuff like that. So hopefully we can put a good product on the ice and something that the people can be very proud of.
Meanwhile, the London Knights have wrapped up their preseason games, and they're a perfect 4-0.
Yeah, it's 9 more days until the defending champs raise the OHL Championship and Memorial Cup banner at Canada Life Place. And switching to the gridiron, the Western Mustangs are a perfect 3-0 this year, ranked number 3 in the country as they head to Carleton this weekend. They're coming off a 55-29 blowout win at home against Ottawa. There's Ethan Dolby rushing for one of his 3 scores, going for over 100 yards for the 3rd straight game.
Let's go, get there, get there, get there.
And the high school football regular season kicks off in 8 days, and teams continue their preparations. At St. Joe's, the Rams went undefeated in Tier 2 last year, and they've now been promoted to the 10-team top division. They'll begin their campaign against St. Andre Bessette next week.
With the amalgamation of our boards in sports, it's really given us an opportunity to have our best teams play other best teams. So last year we had a really successful season. Now we're getting the opportunity to play some of the other bigger schools in London, and we look forward to the opportunity. And I think that it's going to benefit us in the long run.
And Brent, a huge weekend coming up for local racing fans at the Delaware Speedway.
Yeah, just 2 weekends left on the circuit, Carlyle, and the NASCAR Canada Series heads to Delaware Saturday for a doubleheader. DJ Kennington trails the series leader Marc-Antoine Cameron by just 19 points heading into the 2 races. The action at the half-mile oval begins with practice around noon Saturday, then qualifying, then the 2 races begin at 6:15 and at 8:30.
And finally, Brent, back to the ice. NHL rookie camps are getting underway this week with several London Knights looking to impress.
Yeah, and those that make the main camp will miss the Knights season opener, unfortunately. In Los Angeles, Jared Woolley and Henry Rustevich are hoping to get up close with one of the all-time Knights greats, Corey Perry, who's now a King. Entering his 21st season in the NHL, Corey Perry knew he couldn't take much time to rest and recover after the Stanley Cup final.
You have to get back at it right away. It's it's a must, especially at my age. I'm trying to keep up with these 20-year-olds that are coming in the league that are bigger, faster, stronger.
He's been working hard in the gym and on the ice power skating. Having reached and lost the Stanley Cup final 5 of the past 6 years, he's played as much hockey as anyone.
Some guys will take a month off when they go that late. 2 weeks, Corey's already calling me going, give me a program. I'm going to Paris. I'm going here. I'm going there. But he's doing it, right? So every day we're communicating. But it doesn't matter where he is in the world or if he's in Peterborough, wherever he's at his cottage, he's asking for workouts every day. Like he's dialed in.
After 2 years with the Oilers, he's signed with Los Angeles, his 7th NHL team. He even threw out the ceremonial first pitch at the Dodgers game Monday.
It was tough leaving Edmonton. It was hard. It was a tough decision, but at the end of the day, it's a new chapter, and we're looking forward to it as a family.
And looking forward to meeting him is Kings first rounder and Knights defenseman Henry Brestevich.
He was in our locker room last year during the Memorial Cup thing, so that was pretty cool seeing him. And then obviously him signing in LA now is pretty cool. He's a legend in the game for sure, and when you're young, you're looking up to him as a player, so sharing the ice with him will be really cool.
Perry is excited about this new journey, and at 40, he's trying to take his 6th different team to a cup final.
As long as I'm having fun and still competing and playing well, and I feel good out there. I feel young, and it's still fun for me. So, it's exciting, and looking forward to it.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Julie's on the desk with me now, and if we're talking about a great week to have a Western Fair weather-wise, right. I mean, could you have constructed a better forecast?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's been perfect and nice and comfortable. Temperatures have been cool in the morning, warming in the afternoon, coming in above normal today, hitting a high of 24 degrees. I know many of you out enjoying this beautiful weather. So many great events coming up this weekend, and we're going to have a nice start as we head into your Friday. High pressure continues to dominate across the Great Lakes. It's on the eastern seaboard, and it's ridging its way back into southern Ontario. There's a weak disturbance off to the northwest, and it has been generating some light rainfall, but not able to overcome this ridge that's in place, so that's good news. Air quality is an issue tonight in through parts of Western Canada. Air quality advisories and warning of the forest fire smoke that is causing some poor air quality. So looking at that, you can see a little wave as well, areas to the north, but I just wanted to focus in on this forest fire smoke. You can see how intense by the color indication. So it is quite heavy in those areas as that continues to cause problems and poor air quality heading into tomorrow. Across Canada, temperatures are looking good. No big swings in terms of our coasts tonight. You can see into the upper teens and then some warmth across the southern prairies. That warm air building across southern Ontario tomorrow. So each day we've noticed the temperature coming up just a bit. So warming in the afternoon. Love this weather. You start the day with your jacket and your sweater on by the afternoon. You're feeling the heat for sure. Forecast model goes out 24 hours to start. It will be clear, and then as we head out 36 hours, we are expecting lots of sunshine to a mix of sun and cloud as we head into Friday. Overnight, cool, comfortable. Winds will be light and variable. The cloud cover that moved in late this afternoon clears on out. Watch for patchy fog through the overnight and first thing in the morning. Again, those areas that normally see that fog, especially over our fields, in and around those rural areas, just be prepared early in the day. It will be not thick, but we could see a bit. 9 degrees in London overnight, 13 degrees in Port and toward Long Point, and 12 degrees near Grand Bend. Your fair forecast for Thursday: sunshine, definitely fair weather. Mainly sunny heading into the afternoon, and 25 degrees with light winds. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast for Friday brings us a mix of sun and cloud. Now, the weekend forecast tracking a cold front that'll be dropping in from the northwest. Now, this cold front does not have a lot of moisture with it, and there are 2 different model solutions that are showing one without rain and one with rain. So when we see that happen, we wait for them to converge and bring us a better forecast. So I'll keep you posted on the weekend. At this point, the greatest chance for showers will come as we head into Saturday evening, with the possibility possibility of a thunderstorm with that front coming through. Now, the other forecast is showing that this front washes out over the region, so really just brings a few sprinkles. So in terms of measurable rain coming this weekend, it doesn't look all that promising. I know it's been extremely dry, but if you have plans this weekend, I know you're probably hoping for it to clear up. So at this point, we're not expecting a lot of rainfall, but we could see some rain Saturday night into Sunday. Early next week, mainly cloudy with sunny breaks on Monday and back into a mix of sun and cloud heading into Tuesday, Wednesday. Warming temperatures tomorrow across the region, about a degree or two warmer than it was today. And then Friday looks good with a nice mix of sun and cloud. We'll start Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud. Saturday evening will be our next opportunity for some showers moving in as a cold front approaches the area. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. Still ahead, a landlord sounds the alarm after discovering his tenant turned his property into a short-term rental without his knowledge.
This morning we were talking about the strange or unusual names that you have for your grandparents.
Sarah texted and she calls her grandmother Gaggle, which was uncomfortable. We got a whole bunch on their Facebook page. You should go check them out.
And join us tomorrow morning starting at 6 a.m.
A landlord in Vancouver says he's frustrated with Airbnb after he found out a condo he owned had been listed on the app by the tenant he had rented the condo to. As Shannon Patterson reports, Airbnb initially refused to do anything about it.
Hossein Tavakoli is preparing to list his furnished downtown Vancouver condo for rent.
I'm always looking for long-term tenants. It's less hassle for me. It's compliance with city rules.
His last tenant seemed legit when he signed a one-year lease back in April.
I did my due diligence. He had pay stubs, good financial records. All seems to be fine.
But Tavakoli became concerned last month when his emails to the tenant bounced back and the man's cell number was disconnected. So on August 19th, he decided to pay him a visit at the condo.
Knocked on the door, and a strange person opened the door. Like, who are you? Oh, we have rented here. From whom? They were hesitant. We were told not to tell. I said, no, I'm the owner of this unit. I need to know. And they said, it's Airbnb.
Tavakoli learned his 625-square-foot condo was listed on Airbnb by someone named Kevin to accommodate up to 10 guests at a time.
I didn't find the listing myself. I got it from one of the guests.
While not all the photos were from his unit, guests who booked this listing were directed to stay in Tavakoli's condo, and there were reservations well into December. With his so-called tenant unresponsive, Tavakoli first reached out to Airbnb on August 21st.
They consider the owner as a third party. I explained to them that, no, I'm not the third party. I own the unit which has been illegally rented on your platform.
Tavakoli says he kept getting the same emailed response from Airbnb, telling him to take the matter up with his tenant, who he couldn't reach, or the host, who he didn't know.
I think I sent them more than 8 or 10 emails. All the answers were the same boilerplate text.
Frustrated the fraudulent listing had not been removed, Tavakoli contacted CTV News, and we reached out to Airbnb with a list of questions. In an emailed statement, the company replied, "We make clear in our terms of service that all hosts must confirm they have permission to list a space, including having the correct permissions from landlords and are following local laws and regulations prior to listing a home. While issues are rare, we investigate these reports and in this case have removed the listing and suspended the host."
So how they called it a verified address at the first place, right? So either they are not following their own policies, there are not enough checks and balances, there is something wrong.
When he rents the condo this time, Tavakoli is telling prospective tenants he'll periodically drop by with the required 24 hours notice, which would likely ruin any scheme to list it on Airbnb. Shannon Patterson, CTV News, Vancouver.
The owners of the Goderich salt mine have settled a pair of class action lawsuits. The two suits totaled nearly $50 million, the result of misleading disclosures by Compass Minerals about the mine's production. According to the settlements, the company misrepresented how much salt new equipment was capable of producing and how much that shortfall would impact future income. Investors and stockholders who lost money will split the settlement. A top American agriculture leader shared a message of reassurance today with Ontario farmers after meeting with our province's ag minister at Canada's Outdoor Farm Show in Woodstock. With more, here's Sean Irvin.
There is a lot of interest as crowds tour acres of new equipment on day 2 of 3 at Canada's Outdoor Farm Show. A few are in the mood to buy, but most are holding off.
Today, I think we're just looking, or I am just looking anyway, so.
Yeah, we're just looking around today.
The ongoing trade war with the United States has raised the prices of some U.S.-produced farm equipment and parts. Add to that commodity market uncertainty, and some producers are opting to stay on the sidelines.
Oh yeah, you watch them every day to see what's going to happen. So if, price, affects crops, it's going to affect machinery, it's going to affect, what you can do in the future.
The impact of tariffs has been noted by show organizers. While the number of vendors here hasn't fallen, they are feeling the pressure.
They're trying to keep things just in demand, just in time delivery, and I think that puts a pressure on farmers too. But it's something we'll all get through. Farmers have had difficult situations in the past.
Now, the importance of agriculture on both sides of the border was highlighted in a private meeting between Ontario's agriculture minister and his counterparts from Pennsylvania. Following the meeting, Pennsylvania Secretary of Agriculture Russell Redding told CTV News his administration chose to visit Canada to discuss animal health, border flow, and tariffs. But the Democratic politician stated his top priority for the visit was to reassure Ontario farmers.
And I think making sure that our growers know that we are here talking about those exact things, reassuring your government and your growers that we value that, or we want to grow that. We've got this temporary problem, right? We've got to come to some agreement on how to manage the tariffs.
Ontario Agriculture Minister Trevor Jones welcomed the pledge and spoke of positive U.S. relationships.
I wouldn't say there's a problem with our American counterparts. There's some issues at the top, but the values overlap so well. And you'll hear that from Secretary Redding. The values are here because our values haven't changed.
In Woodstock, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Strength in basic materials and energy stocks helped Canada's main stock index finish higher today. The TSX gained 116 points. In New York, the Dow lost 220. NASDAQ added 7. Canadian dollar fell 1/10 cent. On commodity markets, gold lost 20 cents an ounce and oil gained $1 a barrel. Later on CTV News, a family tubing excursion turns into a rescue adventure. The BC family who saved an orphaned beaver. Welcome back. Middlesex London Health Unit officials say another person has died from Legionnaire's disease. They first declared an outbreak on July 8th, which lasted several weeks. An outbreak was redeclared in late August. Health officials say 5 people have now died, with 96 patients hospitalized. People get infected through inhaling the bacteria, which can't be spread person to person. Health officials have linked the outbreak to cooling towers at Sofina Foods on Trafalgar Street. Dozens of seniors had to evacuate their homes this morning because of a gas leak. London fire crews were on scene just off Edge Valley Road. They say a contractor struck a gas line near a group of townhomes. No injuries were reported, and they say the leak was soon contained.
They knocked so hard and were ringing the bell, and they came right in, and my husband was asleep because he's not well, and rushed us out. I said, "The stove's on." Grab my phone.
Residents in a Bruce County apartment complex had to temporarily evacuate because of a fire this morning. Fire crews say about 50 residents had to leave their homes in the Lucknow complex. Police say no one was seriously hurt, and residents were allowed back into their homes early this afternoon. Officials also say they do not believe the fire is suspicious. The U.S. Supreme Court will decide the legality of the Trump administration's global tariffs as early as November. The Justice Department is appealing a lower court ruling which found the president overstepped his authority when he imposed tariffs, justifying it under a federal law meant for emergencies. The case could have major political and financial implications, with trillions of dollars in customs duties impacted over the next few decades. Provincial police are asking for public help, offering a $50,000 reward, looking for new leads in a decades-old homicide investigation in eastern Ontario. On Valentine's Day in 1992, officers responded to reports of a single vehicle crash about 35 kilometers north of Kingston. Inside, they found the body of 56-year-old William Billy Neal. They say he had been fatally shot. Investigators say they've traced some of his activities earlier that day, including his abrupt departure from his business after receiving a phone call. Police say despite investigative efforts, the case is still unsolved. They're asking anyone with details to come forward. A new survey by the National Payroll Institute shows a mixed picture of Canadian financial health. The study consulted more than 2,300 working Canadians back in May. The proportion of employees across the country who are considered financially stressed dropped to 36% compared to 41% last year. That's more than half of them are saying they are trying to save more this year compared to 42% in 2024. However, the study also found 51% of workers spend at least 15 minutes a day thinking about finances while on the job. The authors say that contributed to a productivity loss of nearly $70 billion on an annual basis, up from $21 billion in 2021.
A sunset to share with you. Dean Archer took this photo near Belmont. Sunshine continues as we move through the rest of the week. Saturday, we have some rain in the forecast by the afternoon with the passage of a cold front. Temperatures will remain above normal over the next 7.
Protests broke out in France today as the country's new prime minister took office. This was the scene in the city of Montpellier where police clashed with protesters who had blocked traffic on a roundabout. Similar protests took place in other French cities, including Paris. France's president appointed his 5th prime minister in less than 2 years yesterday after the French parliament ousted his last choice in a confidence vote. Nearly 200 protesters have been arrested across France. In the UK, Prince Harry met with his father for the first time in 20 months today. Royal officials say the Duke of Sussex had tea with the King at Clarence House in London. Harry became estranged from his family after moving to the U.S. with his wife after being highly critical of some members of the royal family and the institution itself. He lost a legal battle with the UK government over his security in May and later said he wanted a reconciliation. He's now in England for several engagements this week. NASA officials have revealed what they call one of the best pieces of evidence suggesting Mars may have once harbored life. They say a rock sample collected from a dry river channel by NASA's rover last summer contains potential signs of ancient microscopic life. The rock is believed to have formed more than 3 billion years ago. The space agency examined the data for a year and couldn't find another explanation. However, the minerals spotted in the sample can also form through non-biological processes, and scientists stress in-depth analysis is still needed before reaching any conclusions. The Special Olympics torch run made its way through downtown St. Thomas this morning.
Hi! It's friendship, fun. Sometimes competing, but it's mostly friendship, fun, and I guess teamwork.
Local Special Olympians join local police officers making their way down Talbot Street, raising awareness and funds for the athletes and their competitions. The torch run raises about $2 million annually for Special Olympics.
The relationship between law enforcement and Special Olympics athletes is a unique one, and St. Thomas is definitely leading the pack there. The officers are involved year-round with different fundraising activities, taking part in their sporting events, and it all culminates with the community torch run today. So you can see the excitement with both sides.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Get ready to rock the runway. We want to hook you up with tickets to see Marshmello and Baby No Money.
September 13th at Rock the Runway. Tickets are on sale now, or listen to 97.5 Virgin Radio this week for your chance to win.
Finally tonight, a family out for a float on a BC river coming across a truly Canadian critter in need of a little help. Adam Sawatsky has more on their relaxing afternoon that turned into a rescue mission.
Look at that.
Connor Belanger and his mom Liz don't need to look at pictures from their recent tubing trip
to remember the sound they'll never forget.
Kind of high-pitched squeaking sound that I've never heard before.
Liz was moving down the river too fast to see where it was coming from, but Connor was far enough behind to spot something struggling in the rapids and reached out to help.
Slowly, kind of clawed its way up into my palm, with his front hefts, and then I scooped it up.
But it wasn't until it was safely in his arms that Connor saw its tiny tail and realized he'd saved a baby beaver.
It felt awesome, and I felt super protective of it immediately.
And he just held on and let us kind of look. And
After it stopped breathing heavily, the baby started falling asleep in Connor's arms. And for the next hour, until they reached their pickup point downriver, they cuddled close.
just has so much empathy for animals.
When they got to shore, they marked the specific location where they'd found the beaver on a map and started reaching out for someone official to help the baby they'd named Chip.
She would open her little eyes, look around, and then snuggle back in, just take care of me.
The family took turns cradling the baby as they drove an hour and a half out of their way to the North Island Wildlife Rescue Association.
It was really good that they found it when they did.
Joanna Smith says the baby was just a week old and likely swept out of her den before floating too far downriver for her family to find her.
Without Mom, there's no way she would have survived.
But after a few weeks in care, the beaver, now renamed Little Timber, is thriving.
Oh, she's a busy beaver.
While the beaver's expected to be released back into the wild in about 18 months, Liz and Connor will likely be looking back fondly on their time with Little Timber forever.
And such a Canadiana experience. We rescued a baby beaver.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Saanich.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.